Hey everyone, it's Jared with Semper Metallum. I'm here today with Mikey from the Gloom in the Corner. Their new album, Royal Discordance, comes out February 27th
Yes.
via Sharptone Records. Mikey, you want to just go ahead, kind of get into who you are, what you do, what Gloom in the Corner is, stuff like that?
Of course. Hi, I'm Mikey. I'm the vocalist, main songwriter, I guess you could say, um, of the Gloom in the Corner. We are a concept-based metalcore, death rocky kind of band from Melbourne, Australia.
The concept base is something I want to hit very early because that is, I think, the coolest part of your band and what you guys do is you guys do the lore thing in a way I've never seen any other band do. Like, I kind of want to, like, with the new record, I want to lead off with, can you kind of like, for somebody who doesn't know what's going on, can you kind of like give them a jump in point with like what this record is going to be with the lore?
Sure. The last record that we did, Trinity, was kind of like this big, grandiose divine comedy kind of bastardized D&D campaign about three characters that go through that go through hell, and come out the other side and accidentally kickstart an apocalypse. Um, so the this record is very much based around the consequences of that. There's like this big evil bad guy that comes in right at the end of the last track off Trinity, Hail to the King. And the story that follows on this record is pretty much based around the conflict between him and one of our other characters, Clara, who forms a resistance in the wake of this apocalypse kind of descending down upon the world. And as I said, follows kind of like the consequences of said actions and follows how the resistance movement kind of fight back against this evil presence that comes in.
I kind of just want to pick your brain about the lore and everything for a few minutes because you guys have been
Of
doing
course.
this for so long at this point, so many projects. Was that always the goal with Gloom, or did it kind of spawn down the line? And then do you have like an end goal with it, or is it just going to keep going as long as you can keep thinking of things?
No, it was always the way. I started this project very much with the forefront of we're going to be telling a story through this. How well planned out it was originally meant to be. Pardon me. How well planned out it was originally meant to be kind of got thrown out the window after our album Fear Me, because originally it was meant to go from Fear Me into what became Trinity back in
Right.
2022, but we decided to kind of expand out on the lore a little bit, and expand out the universe because we wanted to do more releases and stuff like that to just kind of give ourselves prep time for this record. Um, and the story and lore between over the what we call the Fear Me arc, which is between Fear Me and our three-track Ultima Pluvia, gets very messy and a lot of things get like retconned and whatnot. Just because originally it wasn't planned to be that way. This one, we're very much like I'm very much more meticulous with planning things out and making sure that we're not retconning ourselves or anything like that. So yeah, that was always going to be the thing with Gloom is it's will it starts as a concept band and it will die as a concept band. Like we're not going to really deter from that. As far as do I have like an end goal? I do, yeah. Like I have kind of penned out what will be the finale, I guess. That being said, though, like there's so much in this world to explore that we can kind of jump around a little bit back in time and focus on like different characters across like future releases and whatnot. Not necessarily saying that we're going to do that for the next one, but there is always the opportunity. So as long as I have constantly have the stream of ideas, or there's always something to be talked about within this world, there's always going to be it's always going to be there.
Right. Yeah, because I noticed when you guys put out Jericho Protocol last year, and it's the lead in at the end of the song is going into the beginning of Trinity, right? If I'm remembering correctly.
Yep.
So you're doing
Yep.
singles that are like prologues and things like that. Stuff I've never really seen other bands do before. And I think that is what makes you guys so special is your ability to be able to just swing so far at the fence and it works almost every time. Like it's been
Thank you. I appreciate
super
that.
cool. I jumped in on you guys with I'm blanking on the name. I'm so sorry. the record with
It's okay.
Misanthropic on it. I can't remember the name off the top of my head.
Oh yeah, Flesh and Bones. Yeah,
Yes,
Flesh and
I
Bones.
had a
Yeah, yeah,
close
yeah, yeah.
friend recommend that record to me, and I've stuck ever since. And it's just been cool to see not only how you guys do the world building, but also like just how you guys have evolved musically. Like I do want to kind of get into some of that with the new record because I have gotten the chance to hear it, and there's some stuff you guys do on there that I don't think I've ever
Mhm.
heard you guys do before that I think is really cool. It was I don't I
Yeah,
don't
we
want to
we've
ask
switched
the
things up
right
a bit for this one.
yeah, I don't want to ask the like writing process question in terms of the music. I want to know kind of where the inspiration for the lore comes from, like what forms of media kind of play into it, things like movies, things of that nature that have kind of inspired it as it's gone along.
Of course. For this one, oh, I was saying to someone the other day, like this is kind of like the first record that like I'm not really taking that much of a direct influence from things in pop culture like we have in the past. There's definitely like a few things for sure that I'm very, very on the nose about. Um, but a lot of stuff I kind of realized was that was influencing this record was actually what was happening in the real world more than anything else. Um, we kind of I was actually rewatching the interview that I did with Mateo a couple of years ago for Trinity this morning just to kind of refresh myself and all that kind of stuff. And like we're like Trinity was very much influenced by D&D and like all the movie soundtracks and movies that I've watched over pop culture, and we always, as I said, very much wear that on our sleeve. But with like I was saying, like the writing process doesn't really start until like the last record has like come out, like everything's out.
Right.
So a lot of the writing for this record didn't really start until after Trinity came out, with the exception of like a couple of songs. And what I found influenced everything more than anything else, which was what was going on politically um, in the world at the time. And I think like it's very obvious, like you can tell with the story, like it's with the resistance movement and stuff like that. Like there's a few conflicts happening in the world at the moment, which you can probably point a finger to, which
Oh yeah.
are
Oh
which
yeah.
is the direct influence. Um, and so that was kind of like the main influence, I guess. Like I kind of it started off subconsciously, and then it's kind of as we wrote more and more, and I started writing lyrics and everything like that. Um, it very much like became the forefront, I guess. Um, there are like a couple of pretty obvious pop culture references, like Painkiller Soliloquy and Nope are very much like my nod to stuff like Max Payne, John Woo films, 80s action films, like
The John
that
Woo
kind of
line
thing.
in Nope gets me every time. So cool.
Oh, it's so funny. It was so much fun writing that song. I feel like that was like the second last song written for the record, and lyrically, I'm just gonna have fun with this. Like,
Just
this
go with
doesn't need
it.
to be serious. The song's already over the top. Let's just go batshit with it. Um, so yeah, like I guess like for once for Gloom, it's actually been the real world that's influenced us or me more than anything else. But there is definitely like that sprinkle through of pop culture and whatnot throughout the whole record for sure.
And then kind of on the more like musical level, like I was saying with the feeling like you guys were pulling things I've never heard you do before. My first listen through the record, the track that jumped at me was, let me just get the name, I'm sorry. It's
That's
late
okay.
in the record.
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
It's That's Life. That
Yep, I
that
knew you were gonna
song
say
jumped
that.
at me immediately. I heard the like Enter Shikari clap sections and I was my brain went. I just want to know, like, what
Yep. No,
inspirations
that
with
was
that are you pulling, like, for songs on this record compared to some you would have done in other records?
I think it's pretty obvious that I wear the MyChem influence on my sleeve pretty broadly, pretty brazenly, for this record, and that was something that we were very conscious about going in for the writing for this one. What's funny about That's Life is I've been doing the PR role for the last like 2 weeks now, and almost every single interviewer has been like, the one that stood out to us the most is That's Life. That song is a complete left of center
I
turn.
the like I
um,
said, the Enter Shikari clap sections got me. I was like, whoa.
I wanted that to be like, so that song is a funny one because that was the last one actually written for the record, and what pretty much happened there was I went over to the States to record with our producer John DeLees in October of 2024, and we did all the production stuff, and then he did all of my vocals. So the boys had to do everything kind of back home, because I was the only one that could really get time off work and everything to go over and do it, and it ended up being better working like that anyway because there was so much to do in such a short space of time. That if we had other people there, then we wouldn't have gotten everything done, and it would have been a shit show.
Yeah.
So effectively, what happened was in the last week, in the last 4 days, I reckon. Um, Pretty much how we worked is we'd have 6 days on, 1 day off, 6 days on, 1 day off. And in that 1 day off on the last week, I was like, the song that was originally meant to be there with That's Life, I was like, John, I think we need to scrap this song and go over it all over again. And he was like, fuck. But he's like, I've been waiting for the last 2 weeks for you to say something about this because the song that was originally meant to be there was very, I don't want to say slow, but it was very, it wasn't the right pace for the record, especially coming off the back of Assassination Run and then going into Army of Darkness. It pretty much would have just gone down, back up, and then for the last two tracks, it would have teetered out. And I was kind of like, the end of the record, goes very slow in the last two
Yes.
tracks. Not that it's, boring or anything, I like to think. But it brings down the energy pretty quickly, and I don't want to whiplash people doing that. And so effectively we were like, I want to write another song like Angels or You Didn't Like Me Then or Painkiller, but I want to make it really old school, the throwback to, the biggest influence on the record, which is My Chem. And all the late 2000s, early 2000s kind of metalcore and post-hardcore that I grew up with. Shikari subconsciously was not really the influence, because I never really got into Shikari, but as soon as people said it and I listened, as soon as people said it, I was pretty much like, oh yeah, fuck, of course, Shikari.
It's the claps.
Um,
It's that's what got me. I was like, oh,
it's the
there
claps,
it is.
yeah. But yeah, so that was the last one written for the record, and I said I wanted it to be this kind of last, um, I guess semblance of hope in the record before we get to that big final battle and everything that happens. And I just wanted it to be a really good, feel good song. And it's been interesting watching or hearing people tell me it's that's actually the song that stood out to us the most on the record because it is such a left of center thing. And it is very new for you guys, but it works really, really well. We can still see it as a Gloom song. So yeah, and I guess with that song and the other songs like it with Angels and You Didn't Like Me Then, I guess a lot of the influence for this style of writing kind of came from after we started touring a lot more with Trinity. And while Trinity did a wonderful job, I'd like to think, I'm not trying to blow smoke up my own ass, but did a wonderful job of telling this grandiose batshit fucking tale. Um, a lot of what was happening live wasn't really translating as well as we wanted it to. There's too many moving parts in the record for people to really kind of catch on to, unless you've heard of us before and you know kind of what's coming. And so we found that we kind of struggled a little bit with that side of things live. And Jericho was kind of Jericho was actually written halfway through the writing process of this record. And that was kind of our way of testing the waters of trying to blend seamlessly the batshittery of Trinity and the the more structured nature of what Royal Discordance would be. And it seemed to work fairly well, so we stuck with it. Um, and so yeah, that was kind of consciously what I wanted to focus on this record was we very much wrote it from a live perspective, not from that, I said, the batshittery of what Trinity was. It still is that semblance in there. It's just we just went about it a completely different kind of way. And I think that I always knew that eventually I wanted to get down to more that kind of My Chemi, post-hardcore, punk rock kind of side of things for us. And I think there's probably going to be a lot more of it in the future. I just kind of wanted to transition people a little bit with this record and still have those heavy moments and whatnot.
Yeah, oh yeah, I think this record absolutely still does have the heavy moments. There's so many points very early in the record that it's I'm like, yep, that's Gloom. There it is. Just the crazy
Yep.
over the top like orchestra breakdowns. I'm like, yep, there's Gloom, and it's the coolest thing watching it
Yep.
as the record tapers on, kind of bleed into, like you said, the more post-hardcore kind of influences with tracks like That's Life. I think like one of the biggest standouts I noticed in my first listen through of the record was you guys paced it so well, where it never feels like it hits the wall. It just smooth through. You can kind of almost feel the transition from the intro through the outro of you guys kind of like bleeding that post hardcore line.
Thank you. That was, yeah, as I said, like very much the aim, and like that wall that you're talking about. If we had the original track there that was replaced by That's Life, I feel like that probably would have been the case. Is people would have hit that track 9 and gone like, okay, like we're slowing down a little bit now. Whereas I feel like swapping it out for That's Life was very much the right call.
Yeah, because I've noticed that with some records where they'll just like grind it to a halt and it kills the momentum, and it's something that
hmm
kind of detracts from a lot of records that have come out, especially the last few years with how metalcore has kind of evolved and changed. And to see you guys straying away from it is something that I think is such an upside with what you guys do.
Thank
And
you. I appreciate that. We
yeah,
try to keep things interesting.
and like you were saying with the Trinity things, kind of translating live, things of that nature. I did kind of want to hit on you guys did your first US tour last year, the crazy deathcore tour. uh I think I remember you talking about it on Discog Discourse, I believe, how you had to like transition the set list for that tour. Was that kind of something that also played into wanting to do the more melodic stuff, post-hardcore kind of stuff on the new record to get that into the live set to kind of offset?
um, I think like for future tours, yes. The US tour was very different though. As you said, the it was the big deathcore tour. We're playing with Angel Maker, Humanity's Last Breath, and Psycho Frame, and we're the only band on there doing cleans. Actually, no, that's a lie. Humanity's Last Breath had a few cleans too, but
In
for the
between
most
their
part, like,
Cthulhu breakdowns.
yeah, correct. They do it in a very like not non way that we do it. We do it in the way that pisses off the deathcore kids. Um, and so we were very conscious of that moving in, but I also wanted to do a lot more older stuff for that tour as well, because I knew that like a lot of people coming out that would be coming to see us have been listening to us since, some people have been listening to us since like Fear Me, some people have been listening to us since like Flesh and Bones, and so that was kind of like probably going to be the first and last opportunity for a lot of those people to see that stuff. To put it like nicely, like we're not that band anymore. We're not the Fear Me band anymore. We're not the Chugcore, you know, Dark Complex, like Youth Forever, Beatdown band anymore. New metalcore sworn in kind of style. Um, and so, which is fine. Like I love
Yeah.
that stuff, but it's just not who we are anymore. And like we started playing like a lot of the stuff off of this new record on that tour. It would have been a bit of a shock, I think, for any new people coming up, um, or even new people just getting into us. So that was kind of like the choice was to do less Trinity stuff
Mhm.
for sure. Like we started off that tour with Nor Hella Fury on the set list,
Right.
because that was kind of like the one of the bigger deathcore songs on Trinity, and it just, like as said, it just wasn't going over well. Um, and so we swapped that out for Survivor's Guilt from Flesh and Bones, and then there was another song, I think another Trinity song that was that was in the set list. I can't remember which one it was, but we ended up swapping that out for Jay, like pretty early on into the tour from Fear Me. Um, which again went over a lot better than most of the Trinity stuff. So I knew that like kind of halfway through the tour we made the right call, not doing as much Trinity stuff. Um, and then as I said, like consciously going into the new stuff, like a lot of stuff is going to be like for support tours and whatnot. Like a lot of that older stuff from like pre Flesh and Bones is going out the window.
Right.
So the last couple of tours that we've done over like Europe, Australia, like the last like few, that was probably going to be a lot of people's last chance to see a lot of those songs.
Right.
Even Misanthropic, I think, is going on this next tour. So It's going to be interesting for sure to see how people respond to that, but
Yeah.
fuck it, like we are who we are, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
And on the subject of the North America tour, I gotta selfishly ask, is there another one in the pipeline
Of
for
course.
this year? And hopefully it comes down here towards us because I want to see you guys so bad.
Not currently. It's a big expense getting over
Yeah,
there.
understandable.
We're very thankful for the opportunity for sure, doing that one. Like that's been in the pipeline like for a very long time, but not currently, at least for this year, I think. We're taking like a little bit of a break from touring after this tour that we've got coming up with King 810, just so we can do like content stuff and whatnot, but also because like we've been non-stop for the past like 3 years.
Yeah.
That we've got to kind of give ourselves like a little bit of a moment to kind of readjust and everything like that, which sucks because I want to get out there and tour this record as much as we can. Um, but at least like over this, like at least in Australia, like the April to kind of August period is like a bit of a slow one anyway. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, not currently for the US at least this year. Like it's a big expense and it's it takes a lot of work to get over there too, especially getting like all the visas and whatnot organized. Like
Especially with
it's
the
a lot.
current American political climate.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Uh-huh. So yeah, not this year, hopefully 2020, where are we? 2026, 2027. We'll
Yeah.
be back over.
And then kind of just dovetailing back a little more into the record, if you kind of had to elevator pitch this, somebody's never heard the band before, this album comes out, it gets the blow up hype on social media. What do you want somebody who doesn't know what they're walking into to kind of understand about this record going into it?
Like how do I put this? Like it is a concept record for sure. I think like what differentiates it from Trinity and I guess like some of our older stuff is, at least like from the lyrical content side of things, this album very much more focuses on the emotions of the characters as opposed to actually telling the story. So if you don't understand the story initially from the get-go, that's so totally fine, dude. Like that wasn't entirely the intention of this record, unlike Trinity. So I think like the biggest thing is like, yeah, like I just want people to have fun with it. Like at least for the first 9 songs, like there's maybe something there that you can take away from it, but going like, hey, like at least like I had fun with this record, whether or not you like it or not, sure, that's your prerogative. But yeah, as long as you can walk away from it saying like, hey, I had fun listening to it. Yes, it is for me. No, it's not for me. Fuck it, whatever. Like that's your thing. As long as you had fun.
Yeah, because I've been kind of telling people about this record coming, people who've not necessarily heard of Gloom. I'm like, this band is so out of the box left field. Like, it's not going to make sense the first time you listen to it, but give it a shot because it's the whole thing is just full package, unbelievable, trying to get people to understand the lore. And it's a very fun thing to be able to do, is kind of explain it to people. And I think having this record
And
to
it's
have people jump into is going
batshittery.
to be a lot of fun.
It's the most accessible Gloom record I think that we've made.
And then, so we got about 15-ish minutes left. I wanted to hit you with one non-Gloom related
Sure.
question. I know I'm going to give you two options here. You can do one, the other, or both. I know you're a big Nickelback guy, big Dad Rock guy. You want to
Let's go.
do
Uh huh.
top five Nickelback riffs or Dad Rock Mount Rushmore?
Oh. Ooh. Top 5 Nickelback riffs.
Nickelback's got riffs.
I'm probably gonna do that one because I'm the most like familiar, I guess, with it for lack of a better term. Considering I just did the cover set last year and I've learned at
That's part
least
of what inspired
all of those songs
this.
back to back. Yeah. Ooh. Between 1 and 2, I'd have to do like the main riff from Follow You Home or the chorus riff in Next Contestant. Um, the chorus riff in Next Contestant is just obnoxiously heavy for no reason. I don't get it. Um, hang on, let me pull up my let me pull up my thing. Hang on. Nickelback. You've thrown really up, put me on the spot here.
I
Um,
had this question ready first thing. I was like, I'm hitting it with this at the end.
I mean, we got to put animals up there as well. Um, oh, they just put out a new single. Interesting. Um, Flat on the Floor would have to be up there as well. The riff in that's awesome. Um, I've got to put the opening riff to San Quentin just because it's just so funny. Seeing
I
people like
will
expect it to be like that heavy.
I will never forget when social media thought they were gonna sound like Knocked Loose.
I know that was so funny. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Um, Feed the Machine as well. I feel like you have to give it credits too. Is that
Yeah,
five? I feel
I
like that's
think
five.
5, 6, something like
Cool.
that.
I think that's five.
Yeah, 5, 6, give or take.
Cool. We've covered all bases.
Oh
Um, Dad Rock Mount Rushmore.
yeah.
Like for me at least, like I got to put Hinder up there.
Yep.
At least straight off the top of the dome. Um, you could. I mean, like I want to abstain Nickelback just because we've given them their own
Right.
set. Um, and that would make it too easy. Creed,
Yep.
obviously. Fuck, I forgot
Yep.
about Creed for a second. Um, yeah, Seether would probably be up there too. Um, that's my microphone. Whoops. Yeah, Pearl Jam probably as well. Oh my god, there's a band from Australia that everybody loves. Silverchair, that's it. I
Yeah.
got to give like one Australian one. Yeah, that's probably my Mount Rushmore, which is I think it's five heads instead of four, but
Yeah.
we'll give him that one.
Yeah, we can throw the extra one on there.
It's already yeah, we just chisel it out. It's fine.
Yeah, easy. So just to kind of send it off, anything else you want to add, where to find the band, things of that nature, just however you want to send this one out.
We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I think that's all the platforms we're on. Um, obviously Spotify, Apple Music, all the general stuff. Deezer, apparently. um, I don't know if people still use that or not, but it's there. Um, yeah, album comes out February 27th. If this is out by then go stream it. Let us know your thoughts on That's Life. Let's see how much everybody hates it. um, or loves it. Hey, if it blows up, then fuck yeah, that's wonderful. TikTok song of the year. Um, yeah, we've got the tour with King 810 in March and Drag and a lot of cool support bands coming out. Yeah, I think that's it. I think I've covered everything.
Awesome. Thank you.